Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the cosmic story of creation, but not as some piece of ancient history. We're looking at it as a living, breathing narrative from the Quran, a story that's really about the single most important person in the universe. And that person is you. And to see how, we've got to start with a really interesting question. So think about it. Of all the prophets, all the incredible stories in the Quran, why is Musa or Moses mentioned more than anyone else? I mean, by a lot. It feels really specific, almost like the book is trying to tell us something, right? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, but it changes everything. The reason his story is on repeat is because it's not just his story. It's the blueprint for your story. His test is your test. Okay, so to understand your test, we first have to get a handle on the blueprint of reality itself. We need to zoom all the way out, way out, to look at the fundamental code that everything is built on. It all begins with one singular source, Allah, the absolute truth. And the Quran describes this source not as a person or a figure, but as this incredible fundamental force, the light of the heavens and the earth. It's the origin point for everything we can see and everything we can't. So from this one singular light, all of reality just springs into existence with a single command, be. And just like that, it is. But as the universe unfolds, it does so in pairs. Duality, opposites. It's woven right into the fabric of everything. You've got life and death, light and darkness, mercy and wrath. And within this duality, there are two forces that are just absolutely key to this whole story. The first one is mercy, and it's symbolized by water, the source of all life. And its polar opposite is wrath, which is symbolized by fire. Fire represents pride and this kind of entropy that wants to just burn everything back to nothing. But here's the kicker. Before the cosmic drama even kicks off, a divine rule is put in place. Allah decrees that his mercy will always prevail over his wrath. Now, this isn't just some nice promise. It's like a fundamental law of spiritual physics that's going to govern everything that happens next. You got to remember this. So the stage is set, the rules are in place, and now the first great test begins. It's a test of submission versus pride, with those two core elements, mercy and wrath, water and fire, right at the very center of it all. Now, here's what's so fascinating. The first being to actually face this test is Iblis. And before his fall, you have to understand he wasn't some kind of monster. He was a jinn, a powerful being created from what the Quran calls smokeless fire. He had immense might, a really high station. He was a big deal. And this is where the tragedy unfolds. Allah creates Adam, a being made from clay, basically a vessel of earth and water. And the command is given to bow to this new creation. But Iblis, just full of the might of his own fiery nature, gets completely consumed by pride. He refuses. He just won't do it. And his own words just perfectly capture the core of his failure. They seal his fate. I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. See, he looked at the form of clay and saw weakness. He looked at his own fiery form and saw superiority. That choice, that declaration of pride is arguably the single most important event in this entire cosmic story. But here's the secret, the part that connects everything. This test, it wasn't a one-time event that happened billions of years ago. No way. It's an eternal pattern. It's a choice that echoes through every single soul across every generation. So don't think of this story as a straight line from past to present. Instead, picture it like a Mobius strip. You know that loop with a single twist in it? It's continuous. The exact same conflict just keeps appearing, but on the other side of the loop, presenting the same fundamental choice over and over again. So on one side of this loop, you've got Iblis. His entire logic is driven by pure pride. He rejects the clay form of Adam because he genuinely believes his fiery nature makes him superior. Simple as that. Okay, now let's twist the loop. On the other side, you find Abraham. And guess what? He also rejects figures of clay, the idols his people are worshiping. But his reason is the complete opposite of pride. He rejects them not because he thinks he's better, but because they are falsehoods. They're powerless next to the absolute truth. Do you see it? It's the same fundamental choice about the value of clay, but driven by two totally different intentions. And just look at the result. For Abraham's submission to truth, the fire he was thrown into miraculously became cool and safe. But for Iblis's submission to pride, his own fiery nature became his eternal curse. And this, right here, is where the story stops being about history. Because this loop, this eternal pattern, it doesn't just end in the past. It comes all the way around, right to you. Because inside of you, right now, exists that exact same fundamental duality. You have a ruh, your spirit, which is like a divine breath connected to the light of Allah's mercy. And then you have a nefs, which is yourself, your ego. And that's the part of you that is tested by the fire of pride and desire. Your nefs is the battlefield. It's in a constant tug of war. On one side, you have angelic inspiration, which is always gently guiding you back towards your ruh, toward the absolute truth. And on the other side, you've got these whispers, like those of the Jinn, pulling you towards pride, towards diversion, away from that truth. So, how in the world do you navigate this battlefield? Well, the Quran presents itself not as a history book, but as a tool. It's a living guide, the word of Allah, given to help you take the fire of your nafs, all your passions, your drive, your ego, and transform it into the light of your ruh. And that brings us right back to where we started. Your life is the story of Musa. Just like him, you are given the word, the guidance you need. And just like him, you have to face a pharaoh, your own inner pride, your own ego. You are the protagonist in this timeless story. So the final question isn't about some ancient prophet or a cosmic being. It's about you, right here, right now. Does the word you've been given turn your inner fire into light, or does your pride twist it back into the same fire that cursed Iblis? The choice is yours.